Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to build a mountain modern bookshelf in customizable sizes. This bookshelf features a traditional carcass, but we put a edgy, chunky face frame on the front to give it that mountain modern look. We love how it turned out, and it's very easy to customize the size. Let's get into the build. This project is very easy to customize in size. For my project, I'm building a small bookshelf that is 42 wide by 36 inches tall. Notice I added a top on this project. These are my plywood carcass pieces, and I'm going to put this together with pocket holes. So I just kind of laid everything out, and now I'm going to go ahead and mark wherever I need a pocket hole so that way I can start drilling them. So I'm going to do pocket holes on ends of shelves. And then at the top here to attach the top. And then I also want to attach the face frame with pocket holes from the back. Since I'm using a 2x thick face frame, it's hard to nail that on. So I'm just gonna mark that I want pocket holes along the front edge as well. Now that I know where every pocket hole has to be, I can just go ahead and drill it. I'm using the new Kreg jig. It auto adjusts, so you don't have to adjust for different material thickness. Makes things so much faster and easier and very beginner friendly. Then I can just go ahead with the assembly. I'm using 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws to screw everything together. I called this a little bookshelf in the beginning of the video, and it actually is really quite big and quite heavy. So just maneuvering around and having a space that's big enough is super important to getting a good product. So I decided to build the face frame first as one, and I'm going to start with the 2x4. So I set my miter saw with a 45-degree miter and just making those cuts. So the measurements are pretty easy. Just the overall measurement of the top is my long point to long point, and then the overall height is my long point to the straight edge for the legs of the face frame. Notice these are reclaimed 2x4s. 2x4s are so expensive right now. I'm literally scrounging around in my scrap wood pile, just finding whatever I can to use, which is really sad since this is a face frame. To make things nicer, you could rip the edges of the 2x4s down so they're square. It really won't affect too much of the plan if you do that, but it'll give you a nicer end product. When I went to attach the face frame pieces together, it is a little bit complicated because, as you can see, I'm drilling the pocket holes at an angle. You have to be very careful that the pocket hole itself isn't exposed on the front or the top edge of your 2x4, because you'll see that in your finished product. You really only need one pocket hole here to keep everything together, because once you attach it to the bookshelf carcass itself will help with that. So don't get too stressed out about this joint here. And I'm going to use glue since I only have one pocket hole on one of these ends. I think I got 2 on one end and 1 on the other. And then having a clamp is super helpful in making sure, everything's in alignment when you attach it. These are 2.5 inch pocket hole screws. You only need a couple for attaching this face frame together, so just pick up a handful when you're doing this project. So now I'm going to attach the face frame to the front of the bookshelf. So I've already got those pocket holes drilled, and those pocket holes are on the 3/4 inch setting. It's what you want, and we're going to use the 1 1/4 inch pocket holes to attach it. So just kind of line it up here, and you can use glue here if you want. And I just lined up all the outside edges, got it exactly where I wanted it, and you know, making sure that the bottom is right so that it doesn't wobble on the floor. And then I just start attaching my screws. I did have a little bit of an issue where my screws were, you know, kind of wanting to come through the outsides of the face frame. So what I did in a couple of places is I just backed those screws out so they weren't coming through the end of the 2x4 face frame. I did things a little bit backwards here. I added my back base support last. And then I also attached that to the face frame. I think you could do either way. It was just a matter of preference in construction. Final step is I'm going to add some trim to those exposed edges of the shelves. The shelf just looks a little thin right now without something on it. So the 1x2 is really just to finish off the front edges. It does add some structural support. So if you're going like 40 inches wide with that shelf, this 1x2 could be really helpful. If you're cutting your own carcass, you don't need to edge band the front edges because all the edges are covered with the face frame. I filled all of my nail holes with wood filler, and then we're going to spray it. So I gave it a really good sanding and prepped all the surfaces, and I'm using this top feed sprayer. I really like it because it's super easy to clean. Basically, after you get done spraying, you can disconnect it from your air compressor and dump the paint out, and then just fill the canister on top with water, and then, you know, basically spray out the water using gravity to clean it, and it works really good. So there's one coat on. We're gonna let that dry, and then we'll put another couple of coats on. The bookshelf is all done and it's in place in our mountain cabin, and we love how it turned out. The little bit of change in the face frame, so going away from a traditional face frame and kind of giving it a modern, edgier look is just so mountain modern, and we love it. And I'd like to add to this collection, so stay tuned. You may see more plans in this collection coming soon. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week with a brand new video.